When the weathered oak door swung open with a groan, I, Nora Hensley, wasn't greeted by the warm welcome I'd imagined countless times, but instead met the piercing, glacial stare of a boy who looked about 12, his eyes as frigid as a winterlocked pond. In his small fingers, he clutched a worn fruit knife, its surface stained with what appeared to be dried earth, though my mind couldn't help but wander to darker possibilities. My pulse faltered, caught in the space between startled fear and my ranger's trained composure. This was Jasper Keene, the child Owen and I had committed to fostering, entering our Oregon cabin like an uninvited ghost. My days are spent patrolling the vast expanses of Willamette National Park, where whispering pines and rich, moist soil keep me centered. While I'm confident and capable out there, here in the sanctuary Owen and I had built in this peaceful valley, I felt my certainty waver. Owen, my husband, had been practically vibrating with excitement all week, tinkering with the antique pendulum clock in our living room, imagining our house filled with childish giggles. Being a construction engineer, he's always designing cozy spaces in his imagination, and this was his opportunity to create something truly meaningful. I prepared a hearty dinner, roast chicken with potatoes, hoping the homey aroma might help Jasper feel welcome. We'd even painted his bedroom a gentle forest green, reminiscent of my beloved woods, and retrieved some vintage toys from the attic. But the knife he held shattered all our careful preparations. Owen stepped forward, maintaining a cheerful tone despite the palpable tension. "Hey there, Jasper," he said. "I'm Owen, and this is Nora. We're really glad you're here." Jasper remained motionless, his gaze darting around us, gripping the knife like a lifeline. I fought to keep my composure, questions swirling in my mind. Was it meant to intimidate? To protect? Marla, the social worker, entered behind him, her heels echoing against the hardwood. She offered a quick, strained smile. "Oh, he's just a bit reserved," she explained, passing me a bundle of wrinkled papers and a short pencil. "He prefers writing to speaking. Been through quite a lot, you understand." She avoided meeting my eyes when I tried to connect with her, as if holding back something more. Heavy words. That's all Marla offered, leaving them suspended in the air like stubborn fog. I studied the documents briefly before shifting my attention back to Jasper. He remained motionless, like wildlife caught in my trail camera's flash, his oversized hoodie slipping off one shoulder. Owen, ever the optimist, tried another approach. "How do you feel about nature?" he ventured. "We've got an entire forest as our backyard." The response was silence, but those eyes, they bore into me with an intensity that made my skin crawl, holding secrets I couldn't decipher. Marla broke through the tension with a deliberate cough. "Take a week to see how things unfold," she advised. "No pressure for immediate decisions. 7 days, simultaneously a beacon of hope and a ticking clock. Now, before I delve deeper into this unsettling narrative, I'd love to know where you're tuning in from. Share your location, whether you're nestled in a snow-covered Maine cottage or lounging on a sun-drenched California veranda. If you're invested in this story, don't forget to subscribe for future updates. Believe me, the intensity only escalates from here. I attempted to dismiss my discomfort, rationalizing it as mere anxiety. After all, as a ranger, uncertainty is part of my daily routine, right? But watching Jasper finally move, sliding past me toward the staircase, that knife still firmly in his grasp catching the soft lamplight, sent shivers down my spine. Owen gently nudged me. "He'll come around," he whispered, his words offering hope I desperately wanted to embrace. Perhaps. Yet those eyes haunted me, arctic and fathomless, like a murky lake concealing dark secrets. I followed his ascent, each stare protesting loudly in the deafening silence. At his room, he paused, examining the green walls before turning to face me. For a moment, I anticipated words. Instead, he lifted the knife, pressing its point against the wall, slowly carving a line through the quiet. My heart skipped. This wasn't mere shyness. This was something more ominous, unfolding right before my eyes. That mark Jasper carved into his bedroom wall haunted my thoughts throughout the night, an indelible line I couldn't forget. "I'm Nora Hensley, a forest ranger who's traversed countless miles through Willamette's wilderness, but nothing in those woods ever robbed me of sleep like this child did." While Owen slumbered peacefully beside me, his rhythmic breathing contrasting with my turbulent thoughts. I lay awake. I confronted bears and weathered storms, but Jasper's hollow stare and that soil-covered knife presented a mystery I couldn't crack. By daybreak, I was determined to take control. This was our sanctuary, and I wouldn't let it descend into disorder. After a subdued breakfast, I guided Jasper upstairs, yesterday's roast chicken still untouched on the kitchen counter. Owen followed behind us, carefully holding a small wooden box, as if it were a gesture of reconciliation. When I opened the door to his room, the gentle green walls seemed to glow in the morning light. "This is your space now, Jasper," I said, maintaining a steady tone. "We chose this color because it reminds me of the forest where I work. We thought it might feel more like home." He remained still, the knife still clutched in his hand, his eyes methodically scanning the walls as if calculating something. Owen stepped forward, opening the wooden box to reveal his grandfather's old compass, its brass edges smoothed by decades of handling. "Thought you might want this," Owen said with a hopeful smile. "It helps you find your way when you're exploring. Something to keep with you." Jasper's eyes fixed on the compass, and for a moment I thought he might accept it. Instead, his arm suddenly jerked upward, and he slammed it down violently. The sound of breaking glass pierced the air, shattering the morning's stillness. I jumped, anger rising in my throat. "Why did you do that?" I demanded, moving toward him. He stood motionless, staring at the scattered fragments on the floor, watching the compass needle twitch aimlessly. Owen gently gripped my arm. "Nora," he murmured, both gentle and resolute. "He needs time to adjust. Let's give him some space." Space. I wanted to scream. First the wall, now Owen's treasure possession. But I swallowed my words, watching as Jasper nudged the broken pieces with his foot, his expression as unreadable as ever. That evening, sleep eluded me. I lay in bed, listening past the sound of pine branches scraping against the windows. Then I caught it, a subtle scratching sound like fingernails on wood coming from Jasper's room. My heart rate increased. I slipped silently from bed, my bare feet meeting the cold floorboards as I crept down the hallway. The sound grew louder, rhythmic and intentional, drawing me closer. I carefully pushed his door open just enough to peek inside and froze. Moonlight streamed through the window, illuminating his figure. He sat cross-legged on the floor, sleeves pushed up, surrounded by the compass's broken pieces. His bloodied fingers, cut by the sharp glass, traced each shard's edge with careful precision. His lips moved soundlessly, as if speaking to an unseen presence. My stomach twisted. What was he doing? I couldn't sleep after that, and by morning, exhaustion had taken its toll. I pulled Owen upstairs, determined to face whatever awaited us. When I pushed the door open, my heart nearly stopped. The gentle green walls had vanished, replaced by chaotic black paint, spiraling in violent patterns from the floor to the ceiling. Distorted forms emerged from the darkness, like twisted branches caught in an inferno. The overwhelming stench of fresh paint filled my lungs, the overturned can creating a dark pool near the bed. Jasper sat there, knife still in hand, his glacial stare fixed upon us. Something inside me snapped. "What have you done?" I demanded, my voice trembling. "We put our hearts into this room, and you've turned it into this nightmare?" He remained motionless, gazing at the wall as if it contained secrets beyond my comprehension. Owen stroked his jaw thoughtfully. "Well," he mused, "it's certainly expressive. Maybe this is his way of processing." "Processing?" I whirled to face him. "This isn't processing, Owen. This is destruction." I turned back to Jasper, fists clenched. "Explain yourself." "Now." He grabbed a piece of paper, scratched out a message, and threw it toward me. I snatched it up, reading the crude scrawl. "Green makes me see where I was left." My chest constricted. "Left? What do you mean? By whom?" I studied the swirls again, and they seemed to writhe before my eyes, coiling tighter like a predator's grip. Owen's hand found my shoulder. "He's frightened, Nora," he said softly. "We just don't know what of yet." Frightened? I wanted to accept Owen's interpretation, but the sinister artwork before me felt sentient, weighted with an unnamed darkness. Jasper's cryptic note burned against my palm, an enigma I couldn't decipher. Owen sensed it too, the growing divide between us. "You're being too harsh," he whispered. "And you're being too lenient," I retorted. We stood frozen, enveloped by his dark creation, and I questioned whether we'd already lost him or if perhaps he'd lost us first. Those menacing swirls Jasper had painted clung to my consciousness like thick cobwebs, their distorted forms haunting my every blink. As Nora Hensley, I'd grown accustomed to the untamed nature of Willamette's trails as a forest ranger, but nothing in the wilderness had ever felt as oppressive as the atmosphere in our cabin now. Owen insisted Jasper just needed time, but after destroying the compass and transforming his room into this dark vision, I harbored serious doubts. That haunting note, green makes me see where I was left, weighed heavily in my pocket, a mysterious fragment I couldn't fit into place. School was meant to offer a new beginning, but deep down, I knew trouble lay ahead. I drove Jasper to Willamette Middle School, a weathered brick structure nestled against the forest's edge, where morning mist still clung to the towering firs. He slumped in the passenger seat, earbuds dangling listlessly, his gaze fixed on the blur of trees rushing past. Desperate to break the oppressive silence, I clear my throat. Ever spot any owls out there? I ventured. I've seen quite a few during my patrols. Silent predators, just like the forest itself. He remained unresponsive, merely clutching his bag closer, the damaged compass jutting from a frayed pocket. As we pulled up, I pressed some lunch money into his hand. "You'll manage just fine," I said, mustering a smile. "But remember, keep that knife in your bag, all right?" He slipped out, hood drawn up, vanishing into the sea of students, leaving me with a gnawing unease. The morning patrol along the riverside trails, normally soothing with the crunch of gravel beneath my boots, offered no comfort today. My thoughts kept circling back to Jasper. Was he actually engaging in class? Or just staring vacantly, lost in whatever darkness plagued him? When my phone vibrated around noon, displaying the school's number, my heart plummeted. I answered to hear the principal's voice, terse and urgent. "Mrs. Hensley, come immediately. It's about Jasper." I raced back, my truck rattling violently over the rough terrain. I burst into the office, tension hanging thick in the air. Principal Carver sat rigid behind her desk, lips pressed thin, while a young, nervous teacher fidgeted nearby. "What happened?" I demanded, my tone sharper than intended. Carver leaned forward. During biology, Jasper mutilated a taxidermied fox specimen, shredded it completely, stuffing everywhere. Students screaming, furniture overturned. He just watched it all unfold, completely detached. My jaw tightened. "There's more," she continued. He then entered the library, deliberately poured water into a computer tower, caused significant electrical damage. "We're looking at thousands in repairs." I stood there, stunned. A fox? Computers? What's the reason? I managed my mouth dry. The teacher interjected, voice trembling. Afterward, he just sat there, eerily calm, as if anticipating our reaction. Carver slid a folded paper across her desk. "Found this in his possession," she stated. I snatched it up, unfolding it hastily. His messy handwriting declared, "They don't care anyway." My hands trembled. Was this some twisted test, destroying things to see who'd remain? Carver's expression hardened. He suspended, effective immediately. "This goes beyond disruption. It's calculated destruction." I marched to the counselor's room, where they'd isolated him, my footsteps echoing sharply against the floor. He was perched at a table, mindlessly spinning that damaged compass, its needles swinging erratically. I sank into the seat, facing him. "Jasper," I said, my voice strained and controlled. "The fox, the computer, what were you thinking? What's this really about?" Without meeting my gaze, he grabbed a pencil and hastily scrawled a response on a piece of paper. He slid it across, to see if they'd leave. The words hit me like a punch. Leave? The school? Me? I studied his expression, but his face remained unreadable, those shadowed eyes revealing nothing. Suddenly, the fire alarm pierced the air with its shrill cry, making me jump. Jasper remained motionless, watching me as if he'd orchestrated it all. Students flooded the hallway, their voices ricocheting off the walls. I rushed to the doorway, casting a glance back. He hadn't stirred, still fixated on that spinning compass. "Mrs. Carver rushed in, her cheeks flushed. He triggered it, she declared, gesturing toward him. Set off the alarm while leaving the library. I spun around, ready to restrain him, but Owen appeared, panting from his hurried arrival. "What's happening here?" he inquired, glancing between us anxiously. I shook my head. "He's destroying everything, Owen." First at home, now this. We can't handle it all. Owen crouched beside Jasper. Tough day, buddy? He asked, gentle and calm. Jasper wrote another note, passing it to him. Owen read it before handing it to me. Better this way. My heart froze. Better how? To get expelled? To make us quit? I pulled Owen aside urgently. This isn't fear, I whispered fiercely. It's manipulation, and we're falling behind. He grimaced. He's in pain, Nora. Testing if we'll stick around. I observed Jasper, his figure stark against the commotion beyond, wondering if his destruction served some greater purpose I couldn't comprehend. Mrs. Carver towered over us. Get him home, she ordered. We're finished here. I nodded, fatigue washing over me. As we left, Jasper leading the way, that note haunted me for days remaining, and I couldn't tell if we were fleeing from him or if he was driving us toward whatever he'd left in his past. Jasper's fire alarm incident left me feeling empty, its memory still reverberating through my mind as we drove him home from school. I'm Nora Hensley, a forest ranger who's guided countless lost wanderers through Willamette's wilderness, but this child's calculated defiance had pushed me to my breaking point. My fingers clenched the steering wheel, while Oregon's twilight cast long shadows through the pine trees, and Owen sat silently in the back with Jasper. Those written messages, they don't care anyway, and better this way, pressed down on my conscience like heavy stones. 3 days remained for our decision, and I felt trapped in an impossible situation. We arrived at the driveway, the cabin's welcoming lights a stark contrast to the coldness spreading within me. I turned toward Owen as Jasper stepped out, clutching his damaged compass. We're not cut out for this, I whispered, keeping my voice down. He's systematically destroying everything, and we're failing him. Owen massaged his temples, worry lines etched deeper than I'd ever seen them. Let's think it over tonight, he suggested. There's more to his story than we understand. I wanted to protest, but weariness overcame me. All right, I conceded. Just tonight, then we contact Marla. She pulled up the following morning, her car's tires crushing gravel while Jasper sat on the porch, fixated on his spinning compass. I welcomed her inside, where coffee steamed between us. Be honest, I said, bypassing pleasantries. What's his background? Why does he act this way? Marla exhaled deeply, placing her cup down. It's devastating, she began. His mother succumbed to illness when he was 4. His father, a mountain hunter, started taking him along afterward. During one expedition, when Jasper was 6, he left him in a cabin, claiming he'd return with supplies. He never did. Jasper survived alone for 6 weeks. A rescue team discovered him barely alive, huddled in an old coat. My cup trembled, spilling hot coffee over my hand. 6 weeks? I echoed. At that age? Marla confirmed with a nod. He's been pushing people away ever since, she explained. Prevents them from abandoning him first. I watched Jasper through the window, his small figure hunched against the morning light. The black walls, the broken compass, the school chaos. Everything suddenly made sense. He wasn't merely destroying things. He was testing our loyalty, seeing if we'd abandon him like his father. Marla escorted him away that afternoon, leaving the cabin wrapped in suffocating silence. I drifted to his room, where the dark spirals on the walls seemed to mock me. While gathering scattered papers, my fingers discovered something beneath the bed, a worn leather notebook, its edges darkened with age. My heart raced as I lifted it. Opening the cover, I was struck by the first entry in his sharp handwriting. I keep the knife, so they'll hate me quick. Hurts less when they leave. My hands trembling, I turned the pages. Another entry caught my eye. Cabin's green. So cold. By myself. Had to cover it up. I felt my legs weaken. The verdant walls we'd painted together. He'd buried them in darkness to escape those memories. Then I discovered a drawing, crude yet telling. A solitary cabin in woods, with a lonely stick figure child. The next page read, school's too noisy. Too many people. Broke everything to make them leave. Quick ending when they run. Tear stains had blurred the ink. I collapsed to the floor, gripping the notebook. Owen appeared, noting my expression. What is it? He questioned. Wordlessly, I passed him the notebook. He read methodically, his expression hardening. The final entry stated, good people tried, still went away. Better like this. Owen slumped beside me, embracing me. We misunderstood everything, he murmured thickly. We failed him. I agreed, fighting tears. He's not battling us, I realized. He's fighting his demons. The cabin, his father, they're still haunting him. Owen revisited the drawing, suddenly pausing. There, he indicated. Beneath the cabin, barely visible as if scratched. He's still here. My insides twisted. Still here? Was his father alive somewhere? Or was it just the ghost that tormented Jasper? I rose, snatching my keys. We're bringing him home, I declared firmly. Owen moved instantly. He belongs with us, he stated. We won't abandon him to this. Racing to our truck, the woods stretched endlessly around us, dark and foreboding. I remembered the drawing, the isolated child, and the black swirls concealing a truth we'd overlooked. 3 days remained, and I wondered if we were pursuing Jasper or charging straight into the past he couldn't escape. That notebook shattered my reality, Jasper's desperate words burning into my consciousness like a scar. As a forest ranger in Willamette, I've faced countless challenges, but nothing compared to the weight of realizing we'd left behind a child battling invisible demons. Owen and I tossed, restlessly, the sketch of that desolate cabin etched in our minds. Dawn found us racing through town, Oregon's thick fog embracing the towering pines. He's not gone, Jasper had scrawled. Was it a warning? A memory? Whatever it meant, we had to find him, regardless of the cost. The care center materialized through the mist, its brick facade dimly illuminated. Marla emerged, hugging herself against the morning chill. Jasper's waiting in my car, she informed us, gesturing toward her vehicle. New placements scheduled tomorrow. You're pushing the deadline. I ignored her reproachful tone, focusing on the back seat. There sat Jasper, withdrawn and distant, his damaged compass balanced on his leg. My heart constricted at his diminished presence, as if his spirit had been drained away. Gravel crunched beneath my boots as I approached, kneeling beside the car door. Jasper, I began, maintaining a gentle but firm voice. We were wrong to send you back. I misinterpreted your actions as hatred, but now I understand. You pushed us away because you feared we'd abandon you, like others before. His slight head movement revealed wary, penetrating eyes. I continued. We're here now, and we're staying. Please give us one more chance. He remained motionless before grabbing paper, writing quickly. His cold fingers brushed mine as he passed the note. Really? My emotions threatened to overflow. Yes, I affirmed emphatically. Really? He studied me intently, searching for deception. Finally, he emerged slowly, shouldering his bag. Marla exhaled. I'll handle the paperwork, she conceded. Take him home. The return journey passed in silence, only engine noise filling the void. At home, Jasper immediately sought his room, where dark spirals still dominated the walls. I watched as he retrieved a cloth from the floor, methodically cleaning the paint near the window. Gradually, green emerged beneath, faint but unmistakable. He uncapped a marker, writing on a clean surface. Thanks. My pulse quickened. Was this his way of choosing to stay? I believed we'd made progress. But morning brought an eerie stillness, a suffocating quiet that felt wrong. Owen remained deeply asleep, the kitchen undisturbed. My heart raced as I entered Jasper's room, only to find an immaculately made bed. His belongings vanished, and his treasured compass gone. A note lay carefully placed on his pillow. I have to know for certain. My trembling fingers unfolded the paper. Know what exactly? Our commitment? His own truth? I called out to Owen, my voice unsteady. He's vanished, I managed as he rushed in. He snatched the note, his complexion draining. Where to? He questioned. Though uncertain, that sketch cabin flashed through my thoughts, decaying and moss-covered. Into the woods, I replied. He's returning there. We rushed outdoors into the biting dawn air. Fresh footprints led from our porch into the dense forest, visible in the morning dew. I grabbed my ranger equipment, flashlight swaying as we sprinted. The forest enveloped us quickly, branches catching my coat, the earth beneath us damp and treacherous. Jasper's trail wound deliberately through the vegetation, suggesting premeditation. My chest heaved, each sound amplifying my anxiety. Was he fleeing from us, or pursuing something more sinister? His written words, "He's not gone," resonated in my mind as I imagined his father, the hunter, still lurking these woods. We ventured further, time dissolving into endless shades of forest. My boots sank into creekside mud where the trail dimmed. I muttered a curse, surveying the area, when Owen clutched my sleeve. Look, he indicated, gesturing. A broken branch, disturbed soil. We pursued these signs, hearts racing, until reaching a clearing. There stood our target, an aged, deteriorating cabin, its timber weathered gray. Jasper's tracks led directly inside. I caught my breath. "He's in there," I murmured. Owen nodded, but I halted him. "Hold on. Something's not right." The swaying door released an unsettling drone, like an interrupted whisper. I crept forward, light quivering, and glimpsed inside. Jasper stood motionless, fixated on a rusted trap, its metal teeth clamped on emptiness. His shattered compass lay nearby, glass fragments gleaming. He turned, eyes reflecting raw emotion, and wrote in the dust, "He's here." My flesh prickled. "Who?" Before receiving an answer, movement outside caught our attention, tall and deliberate, disturbing nearby foliage. Owen stiffened. "Nora," he whispered urgently. "We're not alone." The silhouette beyond the cabin's threshold made my blood run cold, accompanied by the unsettling rustle of disturbed ferns. As Nora Hensley, I'd encountered countless challenges in Willamette's wilderness as a forest ranger, but standing there with Jasper and Owen, the atmosphere constricted like a tightening snare. The aged trap glinted ominously on the floorboards, while Jasper's desperate message, "He's here," etched in the dust, matched the terror in his eyes. My trembling flashlight beam caught the swaying door, as an eerie hum transformed into a menacing growl. Owen's fingers dug into my arm. "We're not alone," he whispered tensely. I positioned myself protectively before Jasper, his shallow breaths warm against my back. "Who's here?" I murmured, eyes scanning the darkness. His only response was a gesture toward the trap, then the doorway. My heart thundered. Could it be his father? A phantom from his past? Something more threatening? Owen inched toward the entrance, peering into the forest. "I'll check," he offered. "Don't move." He vanished into the darkness, leaving us in deafening silence. I gripped my knife tighter, each cabin creak intensifying my anxiety. Suddenly, a figure materialized in the doorframe, towering and stooped, silhouetted against the breaking dawn. My stomach clenched as Jasper released a frightened whimper I'd never heard before. The stranger entered, his boots creaking against the worn planks. His patchwork coat and weathered hat cast shadows across his face, a hunting knife swinging at his belt. He paused, his gleaming eyes fixing on Jasper. "Found you," he growled hoarsely. "Been some time, boy." I thrust Jasper backward, placing myself between them. "Identify yourself," I demanded, brandishing my knife. His yellowed teeth flashed in a smirk. "Cal's the name. Used to call this place home. Left something precious. Came checking if it survived." Revulsion crawled through me. Here stood Jasper's father, the hunter who'd abandoned him, materializing like a specter from his haunted past. Jasper suddenly lunged, seizing the trap, its metal jaws snapping shut near Cal's leg. "Get out!" he screamed, his first spoken words shocking me. Cal's harsh laugh cut the air. "Developed some spirit. Have you? Good." I raised my blade higher. "Leave," I commanded firmly. "He's not yours anymore." Cal's expression darkened, eyes narrowing dangerously. He advanced one step before Owen burst in, tackling him forcefully. They crashed down, Cal's knife sliding away. Owen pinned him, snarling, "Stay down." I seized Jasper, pulling him into the corner. His body trembled, eyes fixed on Cal, but he remained rooted. Owen yanked Cal upright, forcefully directing him toward the exit. "Get out," he commanded. Cal stumbled outside, spitting venomously into the earth. "This isn't over," he threatened, disappearing into the dense foliage. The forest fell silent, his menacing presence dissolving with the morning mist. I knelt beside Jasper, gripping his shoulders. "You're safe now," I repeated softly, until he acknowledged with a slow, unsteady nod. "You stayed," he whispered back. We reached home as dawn broke. Jasper huddled in the truck, clutching his damaged compass like a lifeline. But consequences followed swiftly. The school administration refused his readmission, citing irreparable trauma. I sacrificed ranger shifts to homeschool him myself, watching the forest duties accumulate in my absence. The townspeople grew distant, their whispers following us like persistent shadows. We'd protected Jasper, but sacrificed community trust, a burden we'd shoulder indefinitely. That night, in his slate-colored bedroom, he slept peacefully, and clarity struck me. Love transcends mere promises. It's an unwavering battle through darkness, even when it leaves permanent scars. The story concludes here. Did the ending meet your expectations, or did it surprise you? Share your thoughts below. If this tale resonated with you, remember to like and subscribe for future adventures. Thank you for joining us, and we'll meet again in the next story.